Good evening, I'm Emma Dollamere.
And I'm Juliana Colant. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. A 16-year-old student is facing charges in connection with recent bomb threats in Lawrence County.
The female student is charged with 4 counts of delinquency by making terroristic threats a felony of the 3rd degree and 4 counts of delinquency by inducing panic. According to the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office, the suspect would make threats using a virtual private network or a VPN 4 different times starting in mid-November. Investigators say once the message was sent, the suspect would delete their account, making it difficult to track them down. Sheriff Jeff Lawless says several outside resources were used to help solve the case, including bomb-sniffing dogs and help from Ohio Homeland Security and FBI cybercrime labs. The Ohio Senate is considering a bill making false reports about school shootings and other hoax threats a felony. The bill was passed under the Republican-led Ohio House and will now move to the Senate. The bill would create a felony offense for swatting, which is when someone knowingly reports a false emergency, which then leads to a response from law enforcement. Supporters of the bill say the situations cause unnecessary panic, disruption, and expense and can end with innocent people being arrested or harmed. The bill would make swatting at least a 3rd degree felony. The State Public Defender's Office opposed the bill, arguing there's no need as penalties for false reporting of crimes already exist. The bill will now go to the Ohio State Senate for approval.
The Ohio Senate is considering a bill changing the legal status of fentanyl testing strips. The testing strips are used to detect the powerful synthetic opioid, which is commonly laced in other drugs. If signed into law, the testing strips would no longer be considered as illegal drug paraphernalia. Proponents say it will help prevent fatal overdoses and save lives.
The Ohio State Senate passes a bill that would create sweeping reforms to the state's criminal justice system. At the top of the list, the massive 975-page bill would allow criminal records to be sealed for up to 1 year after release, depending on the felony. The bill would also allow inmates to reduce their sentences by up to 15% if they participate in job training, educational, or drug programs. While the bill would make reforms to the justice system, it would also add a new criminal offense, strangulation. The offense would range from a 5th to a 2nd degree felony, and advocates say criminalizing strangulation would help stop domestic abuse. The bill now goes to the Ohio Senate House, where a vote is expected before the end of the year.
Today is the first day of December, so it's to be expected that these temperatures are going to start to drop pretty soon. As you can see here in Athens today, and right now we are currently at 32 degrees, but earlier this afternoon we did reach the higher 30s, and we did have a mainly clear day, so it was pretty pleasant despite the chillier temperatures. The only hazard that we have been seeing recently is we've been having some gusty winds for the past couple of days, but at least it wasn't windy and rainy. As you can see here in Athens today, we didn't see any precipitation all day or in any of our surrounding cities across the board. So for the most part, it has been a pretty pleasant day. And as we move into our current temperatures, we are seeing a wide range of some low 30s to some upper 30s. As you can see here in Athens, we're looking at 32 degrees, and as we move up north into Lancaster, 32, and up north into Columbus, 33, and as we move down south into the Huntington, Charleston area, we're looking at 37 and 36 degrees. But I'll talk about whether or not these temperatures are going to continue to cool down in my full weather forecast.
Thanks, Peyton. Athens County secures $8.4 million in funding this past year. This is thanks to Athens County Economic Development Council and Athens County Port Authority. Over $1.4 million of the dollars is from the Ohio Department of Development's Brownfield Remediation Program. One of the projects includes work at 83 Columbus Road near Service Master in Athens County. Another project on 63 South Court Street in Athens. The building of the former Follett University bookstore needs minor demolition and asbestos remediation. The then space plans to become a hotel and mixed-use development with commercial development on the first floor after remediation. Also, the Village of Albany is collaborating with the council on developing an industrial park near the airport. First graders at East and Morrison Gordon Elementary Schools are able to engage with nature and learn the importance of growing produce through Community Food Initiative's Sprouts program. The program encourages students to get out in a garden and actively understand where their food comes from. Newswatch reporter Brenna Nye tells us more.
Gathering and dumping dirt, picking out seeds, and creating compost. It is all in a day's lesson for Mrs. Swatzel's first grade class at Morrison Gordon Elementary.
That's been the really neat thing, is just watching them carry huge bucketfuls of things with big smiles on their faces.
All this digging, watering, and planting is part of Community Food Initiative's Sprouts program.
Sprouts is a garden-based outdoor.
CFI's Garden Education Coordinator Lucy Peloso says she hopes this program will cultivate a love of growing for the students and encourage them to eat healthy.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says in his second term, he plans to help improve the physical and mental well-being of Ohioans. 3 key areas will be of focus next term, says DeWine at an Ohio Chamber of Commerce event. The first area is growing Ohio's behavioral health. Second is leading the nation in mental health research and innovation. And lastly, providing Ohioans with, quote, the best access to behavioral health care in this country, end quote. DeWine also says there are more plans beyond that, such as investing $85 million to pay students for internships and residencies, doing a study on mental health barriers, and build a center of innovation for behavioral health and increase the research capacity for universities in Ohio. Governor Jim Justice is announcing an end to West Virginia's COVID-19 state of emergency. The Republican governor announced the state of emergency will conclude at the start of 2023. The emergency declaration has been in effect since March of 2020. Justice says the reason he held off ending the state of emergency was to give officials time to ensure the state wouldn't miss out on chances to receive federal money. When we come back, labor wages are set for construction workers. And the economy sees a big upswing. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Yellowstone, America's first national park and one of our most beloved. Set to classical music from the world's best composers, Yellowstone Symphony showcases the park's stunning scenery and wildlife as it changes through the seasons. See Yellowstone like never before and marvel at the natural wonder of this special place.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
He wrote some of rock's most celebrated songs. Roy Orbison had a voice like no other.
I didn't know how high or low you were supposed to go, so I went where I wanted to.
And a style all his own.
It was never about ego.
The story of a musical legend.
There was so much soul in that music.
Roy Orbison forever.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
Frank Sinatra was in his prime form for a 1967 TV special. Joined by Ella Fitzgerald.
That's why the lady is a tramp.
And musician Antonio Carlos Jobim.
The girl from Ipanema.
The concert classic.
What now, my love?
Frank Sinatra, a man and his music.
Friday at 8:30 on WOUB.
Enslaved people like Harriet Tubman were the original abolitionists.
She was very to the point. My name is Harriet Tubman. I'm here to take you to freedom. You need to follow me, and we need to move right now.
She is someone who saw herself as having a purpose and who was on earth to deliver on that purpose.
Harriet Tubman, Visions of Freedom.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
West Virginia's highway construction industry employers now have until December 18th to submit prevailing wage surveys to the U.S. Department of Labor. The extension was announced today by the Labor Department's Wage and Hour Division. The surveys help the agency establish prevailing wage rates. By law, the department must set rates that reflect the actual wages and fringe benefits paid to construction workers in the county where the work takes place. Employers for all highway construction projects active between the November 18th and January 1st, 2021 in all West Virginia counties are strongly encouraged to complete the surveys and submit them to the Department of Labor.
New signs show that the U.S. economy might be on the upswing. Prices at the pump continue to drop, and a key measure indicates inflation might be peaking. Gloria Pazmino reports on what this could mean for your wallet.
Economic relief may be on the horizon. A key measure of consumer prices slowed down in October, according to a report from the Commerce Department released Thursday. It's a sign that inflation may be cooling, and that's good news for your wallet.
Prices for things like clothes, television, and appliances are going down. That's good news for the holiday season.
The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, or PCE, rose 6% in October compared to the previous year. The measure is the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation tracker because it provides a fuller picture of consumer prices. Lower gas prices could also bring some relief to budget-strapped households. According to AAA, a gallon of regular gas is now selling for $3.47 nationally. It's the first week since February the national average has fallen below $3.50 a gallon.
Gas prices are down about $1.52 per gallon since June, for a savings of $160 per month for American families with 2 cars.
Chairman Jerome Powell says the Fed could pull back on its pace of aggressive rate hikes as soon as this month, but he's still cautious.
We will stay the course until the job is done.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Congress averts a strike that could have crippled the economy. The U.S. Senate voted today to approve a House-passed resolution to end the threat of a national rail strike that economists say could have devastating effects on the U.S. economy. Before that happened, the Senate defeated a measure backed by progressives to offer paid sick leave. Instead, senators moved to overwhelmingly approve a House bill that left out that benefit. The bill will now go to President Biden to be signed into law. Ohio University's hockey team has a unique way to take care of their players. That story's still ahead.
And it's gotten chillier the past couple of days, but what's our weekend looking like? Find out in my full weather forecast. And if you want more of Newswatch, you can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
Frank Sinatra was in his prime form for a 1967 TV special. Joined by Ella Fitzgerald.
That's why the lady is a tramp.
And musician Antonio Carlos Jobim.
The girl from Ipanema.
The concert classic.
What now, my love?
Frank Sinatra, a man and his music.
Friday at 8:30 on WOUB.
We wish you the merriest, the merriest you'll cheer. It's a young.
Join Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and their very musical families in a classic holiday celebration.
The halls with boughs of holly. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That will bring us back to do.
Sunday at 3 on WOUB.
Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr., Harvard professor, literary critic, filmmaker. He brings a singular passion to his historical journeys on PBS. Join me, Courtney B. Vance, as we explore the life and work of one of the leading chroniclers of the American experience, Henry Louis Gates Jr., Uncovering America.
Saturday at 8 on WOUB.
We are experiencing a DNA testing revolution. It's reuniting families, sparking new connections, and giving us access to life-changing health information that will transform our world. I'm Diane Southard, and I've been a genetic genealogist for over 20 years. Join me to see how DNA testing will change your life in your DNA Secrets Revealed.
Saturday at 2 on WOUB.
chillier and chillier here in Athens. To cool down quite a bit, but today we had a temperature high of 39, and this morning we did have a temperature low of 24. So if you went outside this morning, I'm sorry, I felt it too, and it was frigid. But as the day went on, it was partly sunny, so that sunshine definitely warmed us up quite a bit. And on top of that, we had a quite pleasant day. We had no rain in Athens, and across the board in our surrounding cities, we didn't have any precipitation either. And as we move on to our regional radar, we're looking at the same thing across the board. We haven't seen any rainfall in the area, but as we do move up north into the Buffalo and Syracuse area, they got hit with some snow. We haven't seen any of that yet, but it is to come. It is that time of year. But as we move into our evening, it's going to continue to be pretty clear. We're going to have some scattered cloud coverage here and there, but it is going to be mostly clear like it was today. And we do have an overnight low of 24. So if you're outside this morning, it's going to feel a lot like that. I don't know about you, but I already have my heavy coat planned, a series of layers, and I am in full preparation for this evening. And as we move into tomorrow, as you can see here to the west of us, we do have a cold front, and it is making its way in. But tomorrow we do still have some high pressure in the area, so we're going to have some dry weather and some above seasonable temperatures. Tomorrow in Athens, we're going to have a temperature high of 54, so it's going to raise quite a bit from this afternoon and this evening. It's really chilly today, but tomorrow it's going to warm up quite a bit. And we have a temperature low of 42, so it's going to be a lot higher than today's low, and it's going to be partly sunny, so that sunshine is going to warm us up. But we are going to still see some of those gusty winds, and that's going to take away the possible humidity that we would have seen tomorrow. And as we move into tomorrow night, as you can see here, that cold front is continuing to move in, and it's going to drive through Athens on Saturday. And that's going to be bringing us some isolated showers, but it's really nothing to worry about. We are expecting under 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. So really our only hazard we're going to be expecting this weekend are those gusty winds that are continuing to linger in our area. But as we look at Saturday, we are having that chance of showers, and we're going to have a high of 57 and a low of 21. So that low is going to be low, and it's going to start to get chilly again, but that cold front is going to move out of our area, and it's going to bring us some fair weather on Sunday. We're going to have a mostly cloudy day, no chance of rain. It's going to be a high of 43 and a low of 24. So that low is going to get pretty low again. But as we move into Monday, it's going to warm up a little bit. It's going to get to a high of 50 and a low of 38. So we're back in the 50s Monday. We're going to have a chance of showers, and we're going to see that same pattern continue on Tuesday. We're expecting some rainfall. We're not expecting any snow just yet, but we are going to have a high of 57 and a low of 34, so it's going to warm up quite a bit to the high 50s. But on Wednesday, it's going to get a little different here. We're going to have a chance of showers, but we have a low of 25. So you know what that means. We're going to have a chance of some snow in the morning on Wednesday and possibly into the evening. But throughout the day, it's going to cool down a little bit. It's going to be 47, a little chillier than it was on Tuesday. But as we move into Thursday, we do have another day of some snow showers possible. We're going to have a high of 43 and a low of 28, so it is going to cool down a little bit, but you know, start bracing yourself for this winter weather that is coming our way.
Thanks, Peyton. A long sports season is bound to give any athlete bumps, bruises, and a lot of pain, but the Ohio hockey team has found a unique way of relief. Reporter Joe Collins has the story.
After banging up against the boards all night, a hockey player is going to need relief. That's where the Ohio Athletic Training Clinic comes in. The idea was started by Dr. Dan Black, who works with both the hockey players and teaches at the medical school.
How can we take a school that has a medical school and a group of busted up boys and mix the two together? So now we have, for the last 4 or 5 years, we've invited the OMM group over, and they get to have some hands-on manual treatment. The players get massage manipulation therapy.
The clinic takes place every Sunday after hockey home games. It allows the players to feel better and the osteopathic manipulative medicine students a chance to practice their skills in a real-world setting.
The biggest benefit is getting to practice on different people. We practice OMM every week in class, but we practice on our classmates.
Well, in the classroom, most everyone's healthy, and there's not really a lot of dysfunctions, but here it's kind of like, oh, I have pain here.
The clinic also teaches Ohio hockey trainers useful skills in their fields.
Just to get more hands-on, more actual work experience in the field of athletic training, there's 1,000,001 different positions you can do. You can be in hospitals, sports teams.
With Ohio hockey having a 21-game homestand taking place until mid-February, there will be plenty of opportunity for the players to get relief and the OMM students to get valuable hands-on experience. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Joe Collins.
Dr. Dan Black says he hopes that someday the clinic will be able to host athletes from other Ohio sports as well in order to grow the program.
Coming up in sports, there is a busy weekend ahead in the world of Ohio athletics. I'll have more on who is playing when Newswatch returns. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr., Harvard professor, literary critic, filmmaker. He brings a singular passion to his historical journeys on PBS. Join me, Courtney B. Vance, as we explore the life and work of one of the leading chroniclers of the American experience, Henry Louis Gates Jr., Uncovering America.
Saturday at 8 on WOUB.
The Musician's Green Book, a night of storytelling and performances by some of the premier names in music.
If we're going to talk about the Green Book, I've lived it.
Whose lives and careers were shaped by the days of segregation and the original Green Book.
The Green Book was the Bible to black musicians.
Saturday at 3:30 on WOUB.
Living and thriving to 100, 120, even 130 years old. Believe it or not, this will become increasingly common over the next decade. Your challenge? Make certain you can afford to live younger, longer, and stay alive and well enough to take advantage of the breakthroughs on the horizon. This is the Great Age Reboot.
Monday at 9:30 on WOUB.
Enslaved people like Harriet Tubman were the original abolitionists.
She was very to the point. My name is Harriet Tubman. I'm here to take you to freedom. You need to follow me and we need to move right now.
She is someone who saw herself as having a purpose and who was on earth to deliver on that purpose.
Harriet Tubman, Visions of Freedom.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome back. I'm Jack Demler. The Ohio men's basketball team closed out the month of November with a 3-game win streak. That third win coming from a 113-44 victory over Cincinnati Claremont last night. 6 Bobcats scored in double digits. A.J. Brown led the way with 18 points. A.J. Clayton and Dwight Wilson III made their presence known in the paint as they each tallied double-doubles. Clayton finished with 15 points and 11 rebounds. Wilson shot a perfect 5 for 5 from the floor, finishing with 11 points and 12 rebounds. The Bobcats will look to continue that hot streak into the month of December as they travel to take on Marshall this Saturday. The Ohio women's basketball team is also looking to carry a hot streak into the new month. The Bobcats closed out November, winning their last 2 games against Indiana State and Dayton. However, the Bobcats win streak comes after a tough 0-4 start of the season. Ohio opens the month of December with a chance to win its 3rd straight game on the road against the George Washington Colonials. This game marks the end of a 4-game road trip. Tip-off is set for tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. The Ohio volleyball team is set to host its first 2 matches in the National Invitational Volleyball Championship Tournament tonight and tomorrow. The Bobcats make their first appearance in the tournament after finishing the season 19-11. They host Valparaiso tonight at 7:30. Winner of this match takes on the winner of Central Michigan or Xavier tomorrow at 5 in the Convocation Center. That match is currently in progress. The Musketeers lead the Chippewas 2-1. The Bobcats are ready to head to the Motor City to take on the Toledo Rockets in the Mid-American Conference Championship at Ford Field in Detroit. This is the first time the Bobcats play in the championship since the 2016-2017 season, and the last time the Bobcats won the title was back in 1968. This matchup puts the Bobcats' #1 passing offense against the Rockets' #1 passing defense. Head coach Tim Albin says Toledo's defense could be a problem.
Their front seven is dominant, and they've got a back end to match it. The numbers are the numbers, so they say they're really, really good, and they are.
Kickoff for the MAC championship is scheduled for Saturday at noon and can be watched on ESPN. And speaking of football championships, 2 high school football teams from the 740 make the trip to Canton to the Football Hall of Fame Stadium to compete for state titles in Divisions 3 and 5. Bloom Carroll makes an appearance in the Division 3 title game after a dominating 35-12 win last Friday against Tippecanoe. They match up against Canfield. This is the first state championship appearance for the Bulldogs in program history. Ironton kicks off tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., followed by Bloom Carroll at 3 p.m. So guys, with the end of the football season just around the corner, a lot of teams with championships, especially the Ohio Bobcats.
I know, when you said that they haven't won since 1968, was it? I mean, I hope that they can bring it home this year. I mean, that's about 53, 54 years or so. I think this is our year.
Yes, I'm so excited to see what they can do on Saturday in Detroit, and hopefully they'll bring home a win. Now let's toss it over to Peyton for our look at our final weather.
Thanks, Juliana. Yeah, tonight it's definitely going to cool down quite a bit. As you can see here in Athens, later on we're going to have an overnight low of 24 degrees. But it is going to be mostly clear, so it's going to be more of a pleasant evening despite that low temperature we're seeing here. But as we move into tomorrow, it's going to warm up quite a bit. We're seeing a temperature high of 54 degrees. You know, I wouldn't necessarily recommend shorts and a tee, but it is going to warm up quite a bit. And we do have a temperature low of 42 degrees. So it is going to cool down a little bit later on, and it is going to be partly sunny. So that sunshine might be warming us up a little bit. And as we look at the next several days here, as we move into the weekend, we are going to expect some showers on Saturday. And as we move into Sunday, it's going to be mostly cloudy with a high of 43. And as for next week, we are expecting some rainfall on Monday with a high of 50 and a low of 38. And as we move on to Tuesday, it's going to warm up a lot. And we're going to get to the higher 50s with a low of 34. And on Wednesday, we are expecting a chance of snow in the morning and possibly the evening. And the same goes for Thursday. So definitely get ready for this winter weather coming up. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Peyton. Finally tonight, the Prince and Princess of Wales spend their first full day in the U.S. The royal pair are in Boston to present the Earthshot Prize, a global environmental award. Prince William founded the prize in the hope of harnessing the world's smartest minds to confront some of the most pressing environmental challenges facing humanity. Bostonians are showing their love for the royal couple, packing outside of Boston City Hall to greet them and even welcoming them to a Boston Celtics game last night. Today, the Prince and Princess went to visit local nonprofit Roca Inc., which focuses on high-risk young people at the center of urban violence. This is the first visit William and Kate have made to the U.S. since 2014. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For all of us here at Newswatch, I'm Emma Dollemare.
And I'm Juliana Colant. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
Support comes from Visit Athens County. More information can be found at AthensOhio.com. Athens, it's more than a place. Support comes from Hocking Valley Bank, offering mortgage loans or refinancing on an existing home, making it easy for dreams to become a reality.